I'm back from the Creative Memories incentive trip to Mexico, and look how tan I am. I'm kidding. I've had skin cancer 3 times in my life. I wear a ton of sunscreen, but all my freckles are back, and now it's time to get back to work. Last time on the Lazy Scrapbooker's next big project, while Jeff and Nathaniel were away on a fishing trip, I kept busy teaching classes over the weekend. And in the chaos of my messy office, I found memorabilia from the trip when I joined them in Boston. That should have been on pages that have already been scrapbooked. I also found Jeff's missing note card for his retirement party speech a year earlier. I cannot emphasize enough how messy I am. We also spent a day in Helen, Georgia, where I was scouting out my first 4-day hotel retreat. After that, I updated the album pages with all of this missing memorabilia. Hi, I'm Donna Guest, the Lazy Scrapbooker. Thanks for joining me on my next big project. We're going to plan, organize, and create a pair of scrapbooks to celebrate my husband and son's 15-day road trip, their baseball blowout. The week I was looking forward to was finally here, the Creative Memories incentive trip to Mexico. I worked all throughout 2024 to qualify for the trip, and I was so happy to earn the highest tier, which meant Jeff could come with me, all expenses paid, and that we had the max number of days on the trip, 7 days and 6 nights. The resort was amazing, and we had a fantastic week of relaxation. As one of the top trip achievers, I got to go on a boat excursion with swimming, snorkeling, drinks, and dinner. And 2 hours of this. That boat ride was something else. Several ladies got seasick. Fortunately, I was not one of them. The back of that boat looked like an infirmary on the way back. But I really love the water, so this was a real treat. But what a wonderful week. Just look at this view. And the wind. I called it a lovely breeze. Jeff said it was more like a gale. So most of my photos look like this. I saw lots of friends, and Jeff and I had so much fun, ate so much good food, and so many delicious beverages. And of course, we gained about 4 pounds each in the process. Free-flowing guacamole, I'll miss you most of all. Oh, but look at this. Jeff is journaling. I love it, and thank goodness, because I've already forgotten all the details of the week. It's going to make the scrapbooking a lot easier. At the Creative Memories party towards the end of the week, I was recognized in the top 10 for growing my team of advisors, number 4 in the entire company for recruiting in 2024. Yay! Our final day of vacation. I had scheduled a mid-afternoon flight so that we didn't have to rush out that morning because who wants to leave a vacation? We had a nice breakfast, checked out, I placed my Creative Memories order from the lobby, then at 12:30 it was time to head to the airport. Vacation over. Or was it?
1962 with service to Atlanta.
Finally, at our gate, waiting to board, we learn our plane has a mechanical issue. You know it's a bad sign when you see luggage being taken off the plane. The airline canceled the flight so they could make repairs. Our new flight time, the next day. So we'd get another night in Mexico whether we wanted it or not. Once I had everything at home settled, I just went with the flow. I was pretty impressed with how swiftly and efficiently Delta moved an entire flight's worth of people back through the airport. I will say, entering Mexico this time was not as fun as it had been the week earlier. After waiting in line for a shuttle, about 30 minutes later we pulled up to another resort, where we stood in line for check-in.
We're about to get on the tiniest elevator I've ever seen.
I'm not kidding. What a beautiful view, and we had a nice dinner and a good night's sleep. The next morning, we were in the lobby at 6:15 a.m. to stand in line, and it took an hour to fill 2 buses with people and their luggage. Then we were off to the airport. Back in Atlanta, and if you've ever been to the Atlanta airport, you know how gigantic it is. Flying in international, be prepared to walk. A lot. Maybe this will help us walk off some of those food and beverage pounds we gained. Finally, back at home after our 8-hour trek, we were so happy to see Nathaniel. And of course, I had to wake up this little guy and give him more kisses than he cared for. And he continued to get lots of attention. By losing a whole day, I now had just 2 days to prepare for my crop and my month-long Facebook spring scrapbook sprint. But with just 4 hours of sleep, I was ready. Over the weekend, I unpacked from my crop, got as much work done as someone would let me, and on Monday, time to start swimming off some of my Mexico pounds. On Tuesday, I had a Zoom with the Savvy Scrapbookers to select the papers for our next video, which will be Hit the Road. Check out our video series here on YouTube. Then, time to get ready for my Tuesday tip.
This has nothing to do with the album project, but I was just preparing for my Tuesday tip, and I have created a 2-page spread for my incentive trip album, which I haven't even ordered the photos for, but it's a great thing for Tuesday night tips. In the 2 days I had to get ready for my crop, I also had to get ready for my spring scrapbook sprint, a month-long event on Facebook. So I worked on my first 2 layouts, which meant I got 4 pages done in the album project. Pretty good. I'm preparing the next layouts for my spring scrapbook sprint on Facebook, and I'm getting to use some pink paper for the first time like ever. And I'm of course running into the problem with my ABCs. I'm out of S's. I've already made an E out of a C and part of a W, but now I'm out of S's. There are no more S's. And I went to my store and we no longer sell or have this font and color anymore. So am I going to pull all this up and do a different color? Or I have a Cricut. I've used it once. I'm just not a Cricut girl. I just can't be bothered with that right now. So I've got to figure this one out. And across the room, I've got some moral support there. I need to go find this font and use that on my Cricut somehow, but I just don't have the time tonight and I want to finish this layout for the video. Okay, against my better judgment, I've signed into Cricut for the first time in like forever. It had to update itself. And I found a font, Cutting Up Cartoon. So that is pretty accurate. I saw someone use it when I searched for Dr. Seuss font. That will work, but it's not one of these that it's going to be all connected, obviously. Does this mean I'm going to have like 14 pieces I need to apply individually, just like doing the letters, except for this time I've got to add tape runner to them. See, I can't wrap my head around this. I know that some people do beautiful things with Cricuts. I'm just not that person. Let's see if I can make this work. All right, here it is. I'm very intimidated by this thing. All I did was press a button and then it made some weird noises. Okay, I guess it's on. Open. Do not follow me for Cricut advice. Follow me for fast pages, but nothing about the Cricut. Oh, look at this. Oh. I know I have to use the sticky mat and it's got some plastic on top of it. Thank goodness, because the plastic has cat hair on it. That can't be good. I removed the plastic. There was still cat hair on the sticky mat underneath, and I've attached the white cardstock to it. I think that's right. You guys at home that are experts on Cricut are probably like dying watching this. Okay, I think it goes like this. Then I have to press something. Oh God. Okay, I think that's right. Is anything supposed to come out the back? I don't think so. Okay, now I need to press this, I believe. You know, I could get the instructions out. Okay, I think I have to click Make on Mat. Okay. 12 by 12. Confirm. Checkout. I got to pay for this. This is going to cost me money. Is that worth $5 right there? I don't know. Ooh, pay $0 with Cricut Access. Yeah, you're not getting me that way. I'm going to go on record that this is not worth $5 to me, but I'm doing it anyway because I'm come this far. Okay, after looking at the Cricut Access plans, I realized I'm not going to use it enough to need to pay that, so I paid $5 for this. Again, I don't think it's worth it. If it doesn't work at this point, I'm going to be highly put out. Oh, look, the button's flashing. So now we wait. Oh. It's making a lot of noise. It's doing some stuff, but I just can't wrap my head around this. Look at my cute letters. Well, you can't see them because they're all white. Honestly, I'm more impressed the technology worked out for me on this one. Okay, that wasn't that painful. Honestly, I'm really impressed that, it did work for me, because I figured their connection would be bad, something like that. We have so many technological issues here. Wow, those really stuck to this dual tone cardstock. Oh dear. Okay, I think I got them up without too much damage. Okay, now the really interesting part of getting this stuff off of this sticky page. All right, so this cardstock, look how cute that is. I can use for something else. And now I've got to pull these up. Oh, that popped off very easily. This mat is so disgusting. There are at least 10 cat hairs on it. That's ridiculous. I don't know how he even got to this. All right, this is a really cute font, and it does look like Dr. Seuss. Okay, I think this turned out pretty good. Now, I still am not a Cricut girl, because that just cost me $5 to get that font that I may never use again. I don't know. You may be seeing that font on a lot of things, so I get my money's worth. And I realize there is a subscription plan, but I don't think I'm going to use it enough to do that. We'll see. Time will tell. But that was a lot easier than I thought it would be. And I didn't look at instructions, and I hadn't used it in months, and it was pretty simple to do. That is cute. Okay, Nicholas, we need to talk. This is not acceptable. He didn't care.
Now it's back to work for my spring scrapbook sprint Facebook event, and here's my shortcut for cutting photo mats.
I cut 2 strips from one of the darker pieces that are 4 1/4 inch wide, so I can mat my photos. And then I just use this little trick where I know where an 1/8 inch is. So here's my cutting line. I'm going to line up the photo at the 1/8 inch mark. And going this way, I know where the 1/8 inch mark is to the left. Perfect mats. And I'm adding some foam squares to the one photo that I did fussy cut to give it just a little bit of height. I love it. I love getting to use these more whimsical papers in this baseball album that I don't normally get to use. So that's a fun one. I really like these letters.
Wednesday was team trivia night, specifically for our favorite show, The Office, so the project would have to wait. We had fun and came away with another first place win and $50 worth of food and beverage.
So this is the Dr. Seuss-like font that I purchased for my Cricut. Did you know I had a Cricut?
Yes.
Okay. That I used to make this title. If you were going to buy this, what would you pay for this?
I have 0 frame of reference.
Give me a guess.
$5.
That's exactly what I paid for it. Worth it? I think it's totally worth it. So here's where we are on the album project. I've completed this many pages, which is honestly kind of hard to believe because I've had so much going on. And I feel like I just want to kind of look at the power layout. I've been doing it here and there, taught a couple of online classes and did it that way. And I just want to kind of look at it. I'm starting to feel a little bit disorganized with it. So I want to, maybe we can complete the whole power layout at this time, because I've got a retreat I'm hosting next weekend. And so maybe I'll get a dozen pages done since I'm hosting, I don't know. But I want to have the power layout done as much as I can. Maybe we finish the whole thing, I don't know. Let's see where we are. I've consulted the outline again because I just wanted to get a grasp on where we were, because honestly, so many things have been happening. I've been away from the project a little bit. Then when I see it look like this, I get pretty excited because that looks beautiful. Now, what you can see happening here is I've got several completed pages here and there in the middle of this power layout. And that happened in February with my Fast Page February event, and it's happening now with my Spring Scrapbook Challenge. And I've got a couple more pages I need to do for my Savvy Scrapbookers video that's due next week. So I'm going to pick those out from somewhere. And then I've gone to the next room and we've got more pages laid out here. But honestly, I think this last one, I just put a bunch of pictures down. I don't plan to get all those on one page. So I think I need to start right around there. And I've looked at my outline to make sure the numbers are correct. And when it all falls apart is when we get to Scranton on day 8. So That's where I'll need to start with this power layout to make sure I've got everything that I need and it's all in order. So after looking at this, I can tell you right now that I think this is proof that doing the power layout for the entire project all at once, if you can, is better and more efficient. That's what I did last year for Jeff's retirement albums. I did that whole big power layout all over the basement, and it took a while, but it made the rest of the process so much easier. I did not have to do what I'm doing now, which is going back and kind of getting reacclimated to the project and seeing where I am and count a few pages here or there and find that, oh, this kind of fell apart at this point. I need to go back and kind of fix this and keep moving forward. So I think maybe I'm going to try to do the rest of the power layout for the latter half of the project now and be done with that. At least the photos, maybe not all the papers, but at least the photos. I know I need to do the papers too because that is more efficient. But I think that's what I need to do now to make this whole project more efficient, and I'll complete it faster. Because if I keep going on like this, I think this is going to take me forever. And when you get away from something, like you go on vacation or you host different events here and there, it does make it difficult to kind of get back in with the project, and then you kind of want to avoid it and do something else. At least I do. Oh, come here and bring that kitty here. Nicholas. So I'm going to pick up all these things that I had on the pool table here, since most of them are either completed or the power layout's been done. But you know what? I'm going to look through them because I've got not only the Savvy Scrapbookers video to do, but I also have to find 2 more possibilities for layouts to complete for my layouts number 5 and 6 for my spring scrapbook sprint, because those have to post while I'm hosting my retreat. So I need to get those done and out of the way because there's so much to do next week to prepare for the retreat. Just when I think I kind of get a break, there's all these deadlines coming. I really like this. I'm not sure I taught anything in this week's episode. It is a hard transition from vacation back to reality. I think my little experiment with the Cricut proved to you why I call myself the lazy scrapbooker. I just cannot be bothered. But I actually will admit to you here, that was really pretty easy and it didn't take me that long. And that font is cute. I may just turn into a Cricut girl yet. I just need some practice. And I need to Google how to get cat hair off that sticky mat. I want to thank you all, whether you are a customer, a team member, or you follow my social media or here on YouTube. Thank you for supporting my business. You all helped me earn a wonderful trip with my husband to Mexico. So thank you. And I'll see you next week for another episode of my next big project. Totally worth $5.